Before I had my blue Mach 1, I had my 97 laser red V6 Mustang, and I was very happy to have this car. I had it since high school. It was only 4 years old when I got it in high school, and getting a GT or a Mach 1 or a Cobra back then was impossible. It was totally out of the question. So I was very grateful for that car, but as I got older and I got married, I decided I wanted to get a blue Mach 1. And I had looked for a blue Mach 1 everywhere, and this will be part of my blue Mach 1 story later. But basically, I had known there was a blue Mach 1 somewhere around here where I live. It was about an hour away or so, and I knew that the car existed, and I had heard about the car. I think I had even seen it once, and I really wanted to know who owned the car. Well, I was sitting down in a waiting room for my V6 Mustang to get a safety inspection, and a kid next to me said, "Hey, is that your Mustang?" And I said, "Yeah, it's my Mustang." He said, "My friend has a really cool Mustang. It's blue. It's called a Mach 1." And I said, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. I think I know what car you're talking about." And he said, "Yeah, we're into dirt bikes and we ride together and stuff, but he has that Mach 1 and it's super fast, it's super loud, all that cool stuff." And so I said, "Man, I would be interested in buying that car actually because I'm looking for a blue Mach 1 and I can't find them anywhere. And you know, around here they don't pop up for sale as much. I actually know that there have only been two besides mine anywhere around here. And the only time one of those was ever for sale, I sat in it at the dealership and it had 2,000 miles on it. And I actually did a story about that car. But anyway, I told him how much I liked the blue Mach 1, and he told me that he lived about an hour away. So it turns out Danny Johnson had actually been up to that city an hour away, living there for a little while, and I went with him to the little Napa auto parts store, and we were doing something, and we walked outside, and right there in front of me went that blue Mach 1. I was so excited to see it. It just made my knees weak. I was like, "Oh man, oh," and it rumbled by. It sounded so good. It's like, there's that car. It was like seeing a ghost. It's like seeing a blue ghost, you know, and I remember how much I liked that car. Well, anyway, I went and I had gotten my blue Mach 1, and I was cruising around, and I saw a red Mach 1 parked at the Outback Steakhouse. And I've done a story about this Mach 1, so you can see that. I'll put a link in the description if you'd like. But basically what happened was I waited for the owner to come out, and he came out with his wife, and they were really awesome people. We became friends instantly. Really cool people just to talk to, and we still keep in contact all the time. And we got to talking, and he said, "Oh, I saw your blue Mach 1 out here, and I thought you were my friend." And I said, "Oh, your friend has a blue Mach 1?" He said, "Oh yeah, he does. He lives up near me, about an hour away." And I was like, "Oh man, I'm pretty sure I know the car, or at least I know of the car." And so we got to talking about it, and he said, "Yeah, we should meet up sometime. I'll have him and me cruise down with our Mach 1s, and we can all have a meet up together with your brother," which would be Danny Johnson, has the red Mach 1, and I had the blue one at the time. I didn't have my yellow one or my red one at this time. But anyway, we decided to get together and have a 4 Mach 1 meetup. And it would be cool because it would be the first time I'd be seeing this blue Mach 1 that I've been wondering about and get to meet the owner. So I was so excited to see another blue Mach 1 as soon as we were headed to meet up that day. I saw him turning into the parking lot where we were going to meet, and you know, it was really neat to see that color. You just don't see Azure Blue very much unless you own one of these cars or you have a friend with one of them. And his is the one with the smoked out taillights in this picture. Mine is the blue one there with the Cobra R wheels. Just ignore those for the meantime. I had them on there to wear the tires out before I was going to sell those wheels. So I'm a purist, and I think the Mach 1 should have the Mach 1 wheels on it. So anyway, at this time my Mach 1 had the Cobra R wheels on it. But anyway, it was really cool to see, and we decided to take our little 4 Mach 1 party over and meet up with my buddy's 5th Mach 1, this other red one. That's the red one parked next to my blue one there, the second one in. He was working at this car wash, and so we took our cars over there and we all lined up next to him and parked there and hung out and talked for a little bit. and then he got back to work. But it was really cool to see all these Mach 1s. I can't believe how many Mach 1s have been in this city. I counted over 20. And this is a small little town in Utah. I can't believe how many people have been through this town who own Mach 1s. And so that in itself is really neat. So we had a great time talking, and then we went to another little drive-in. It's a town ice cream place where everybody goes, and so it was just really fun to get together with this car. And I'm surprised how many of my other friends had told me they had seen a blue Mach 1 around, because they had seen his car, but I hadn't seen it much. And we actually haven't got to hang out very many times, just because he's kind of far away and our schedules don't line up very much. But here's the story he told me about the car. He said he had a 99 to 04 V6 Mustang with Saleen wheels on it. He really liked it, and he worked at a car dealership. And the owner of the car dealership said, if you ever find a car for sale on the auction websites that you like, you can use our dealer number and everything, and you can buy the car, and you can get it at auction price. So that was kind of a cool little perk. So he was always looking, and he said he was looking at Terminators, but they were always expensive, so he would look at Mach 1s, and he saw this Azure Blue Mach 1 for sale, and so he bought it, and he was really excited. And then the owner said, where is it? And he said, oh, let me see. Oh, crap, it's in Florida. So it was all the way out in Florida, and he had already bought the car. So it took him a week or two to actually get plane tickets out there, and he went out with a friend to drive the car home. And so when he got there, it turned out that somebody had broken the back window, the back side window. And if you know anything about Mach 1s and Bullitt Mustangs, that side glass in the rear is specific only to the Mach 1s and the Bullets. And so he was really upset because he had to find that out the hard way when he went to order a window and found out that it was specific to the car and expensive. But they had broken that window and stolen the stereo out of the car. And the car sat like that on the dealership, and I think it may have even rained on it or something in the meantime. So it was really not fun to get there knowing you're going to drive the car home 1,500, 2,000 miles and realize that the back window's broken and somebody's been through the car. So I think he got the dealership where it was at to pay for that. I can't remember. But anyway, he went to drive the car home with his friend, and he said they decided just to do a big, long, straight shot and see how far they can make it without having to stop for a hotel. They took turns sleeping and everything. And they were somewhere, I think he said in Alabama, in this tiny little place in the middle of nowhere at a gas station, and somebody robbed the place. They heard the alarm go off, and they heard, all sorts of problems, and I think somebody inside had the clerk at gunpoint, and then he looked at them, and so they jumped in the Mach 1, ran the car through the gears, and pegged the speedometer to 150, and they did not look back for miles and miles and miles, and they got the heck out of there. So I thought that was kind of a funny story. Something else that he told me was that he did paint and body work, and he has actually repainted this Mach 1 from the side stripes up. He just masked off the side stripes because they're expensive and they're hard to replace, and they didn't need it to be redone or anything. And then he painted the rest of the car. And we talked about how the front of Mach 1s always get rock chips right on the ridge by the running pony. Just on the front rim of the hood, they always get rock chips there. And he's so OCD, and it bugs him so much that he's repainted the hood twice just because of that. It bugged him so much. So I thought that was actually pretty cool. I would never have known. The paint looked very nice on the car. And one time we were all talking about car shows and getting together and meeting up, and he said, I don't go to car shows anymore. And we were like, why not? And he said, they had the Main Street car show in my little town where he lives an hour away, and there's a lot of cars that go there. And he said he had the Mach 1 there, and he was sitting in a camp chair, and he heard whack, whack, whack. And he was like, what is that noise? He couldn't see anything, looked around, heard it again, whack. And he walked around the other side of his car, and there was a little girl with an umbrella with a wooden handle, and she was just bashing the door, whack, 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 just hitting the car for no reason. And her little brother was standing next to her with cotton candy on his hands, smearing it into the door. And he looked over, and the parents were just standing there, didn't care, weren't watching the kids, and he confronted them about it, and they're like, they're kids, it doesn't matter, it's just a car. And so I thought that was kind of funny. Now, he had told me, yeah, this Mach 1's pretty special. In the ad, it says it has 03 Cobra heads and cams on it. And I was like, well, those are actually the same heads and cams that came on the '03 Cobra. They were the same as the Mach 1, the DB casting heads for his because it's an '04. And he was like, oh, they're not different? Somebody told me they were different and that this car was special because it had them. And I said, well, unless somebody rebuilt the engine and actually bought a set off a Cobra, it wouldn't be any different. But anyway, I remember him telling me that story. Now, there are two things about his Mach 1 that make it stand out compared to mine. Obviously, the front license plate with the Scuba Certified logo on it is specific to his car. And it's actually funny, there's another red Mach 1 in town that I've done a story about that had that on the front as well. So that's weird that there are two Mach 1s with that on it. What are the odds? But anyway, the other thing are the FR 500 wheels, those black wheels with the polished lip. It looks good with the Mach 1. I do admit the black looks good with the black accents. And they're cool looking wheels, and his has that, so that's one way to tell them apart. And speaking of wheels, something cool is over the years I ended up with his stock Mach 1 wheels. He said he never was going to do anything with them. He didn't want to put them back on the car. And so I actually had them for a while, and they were on my blue Mach 1 for a while. I used them because the tires were pretty good. And then I sold them to my friend who has a black Mach 1 that he bought from his dad. Now that car is really special. His dad ordered it and picked it up at the rail station. He had special permission. It's a black one. It's an '03, and it only has like 7,000 or 10,000 miles on it. It's maybe 12,000 miles on it. And he asked me if I had an extra set of Mach 1 wheels, and I actually did. You know, I said, I actually do have these if you're interested. And he said, yeah, I want those because the original wheels have the original tires on them, and I just want to get another set of Mach 1 wheels to put other tires on so that if I drive the car around it's safe and I don't damage these wheels. So that's actually something very interesting, is the wheels to that car have been on my blue Mach 1 and now they're on a really nice low mile black Mach 1. Now, one time we actually raced our Mach 1s and I beat him just barely, and he was actually surprised, said he's never lost to another Mach 1, and he didn't understand why, but it was just one of those factory freak things I think with my Mach 1. We both have about the same mods, but he also has long tube headers. So anyway, this is a really cool picture of the Mach that we've been looking at here as I've been telling the story. This was actually when we went to have a really big meetup, and you've probably seen these pictures before if you've seen any of my other videos, but this is my car club here in town with Danny Johnson. We have over 100 members in the car club, and we were all meeting up by this overpass, and here's the Bullet doing a good burnout with his Mach 1 at the same time. That was really fun. And these pictures were taken right when we were having our meetup, and this is actually an overpass where it's pretty vacant, so we could go up on top and look down and take pictures. I always have to interject the Bullet there. Such a cool car. So here's a cool picture of all of us getting together for the photo shoot. It was really fun. It was a lot of effort to get everyone together, but it was a really cool, iconic time for our car club. And I was really glad that he was able to bring his blue Mach 1 for this, because like I said, we really don't meet up a lot. We don't see each other a lot. He's doing college and all sorts of things on and off, and so our schedules are far different, and he lives like an hour away. So it was really cool that we could all get together for this photo shoot, and you've probably seen this before because a lot of these cars in the pictures I've done stories about. But this same day was actually the day that Danny Johnson and I got all of our Mustangs together. At the time I didn't have my Terminators yet, and we got these together, and this was actually when we did the photo shoot for 5.0 Mustang magazine. And it wasn't a feature, it was just in the back of the magazine under like the little stories they had a picture. It was one of the variations of this picture of us together, and so that was pretty cool. So here's another just cool picture of the car club together, and now, like I said, there's over 100 people in our club, and that's really cool. So here's another cruise where we all went together on a cruise. I had the Terminator, Danny Johnson had his Terminator, and that was my buddy's blue Mach 1. And it was just real fun to get together, and I have this picture of him trailing behind the Terminator with his Mach, and you can see that Scuba Certified license plate. And this is the day that we went to the racetrack. You may have seen this in my other video recently, some of this footage, but this is actually good footage I have of his Mach 1 at the racetrack. So you can see that it has the non-painted valve covers because it's a 2004, but otherwise a stock engine bay. But anyway, just very rare footage I actually have of his car because I don't see it very much, but it's cool that he still has it. And he even has a 40th anniversary Mustang tattoo on his back or shoulder, arm, somewhere back there. And I know that on the back window of his car he has something about in loving memory of his father who has passed away. And so the Mach 1 is very special to him for that reason. There's some reason there, and so I'm really happy that he has something that he loves and that reminds him of his dad. My dad passed away too, so I can kind of relate. But anyway, I think this is a cool story. I think it's neat how I wanted to know about this car, and social media and everything wasn't very big back then. There wasn't really any way to find out who owned the car, and it was fun that I stopped to make a new friend with a red Mach 1 and ended up getting another friend with the blue Mach 1, and it's a car that I had been wondering about for a long time, and a car that I even considered buying at one point. And so the car sits around 100,000 miles on it now. I had bought mine with 75,000 and his had about 90 on it back then. And so his has always kind of kept a little bit higher mileage than mine, but I'm daily driving mine now, so who knows. But it's a nice car. The seats are really nice. It's a beautiful Mach 1. And so really fun story. I hope you enjoyed it. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you're not already on here with us, and stay tuned for more of these Mustang stories.